Hey everyone, I have finished the travel album for the vacation that John and I took last year over a long weekend. And I've been asked by a couple of people in the My Little Scrapbook Store community if I could just do a walkthrough. And I thought I would just go ahead and put it right on my YouTube channel. So this is using one of the Heidi Swap Storyline Chapter Size inserts. It is a blank one that came with one of the collections. If you're interested in getting some of these, Michelle from My Little Scrapbook Store is going to order some, and I can leave a link below to the store on how you could get in touch with her to order those. So the first thing that I did and that I want to talk about is I did take both a small and a large envelope with me on the trip to put things in. Now this is empty, but I've already glued it down, so I'm just going to leave it there. And this one is the same way. This still has a little bit of ephemera left in it, but I took those two with me so that I would have a place to just store things as we went through the trip that I might want to use in the album. And then I just attached them to the album as part of my process for making it. So I had everything in one place. Now, the fact that this envelope is going to stay in here empty, it doesn't bother me at all. I may transition some of this stuff over there, but we'll see. So the opening page is a screenshot of the Google map of the different places we went with one of the Where to Next large words from the Vicki Boutin collection, and this that I cut out of one of the paper repack pieces. The next page was our discussion of our first stop. We stopped at the Sea Dog Brewing Company in Exeter, New Hampshire. I used the coasters. I used a die to cut my photo in a circle. And then I used washi tape to attach this so that I could do some flip up journaling. Because I'm using the Allie Edwards collection, I also had these really cool envelopes that had pull-out cards, and I used those throughout the album as consistency to hold some longer journaling. So I used that to put journaling on, and then you'll see that throughout the album. This was just a picture of the sea that we saw, and I thought that was really cool. Then when you go to this is day 2. So the consistent thing I did in this album was as we switched days, I used my large date stamp to stamp the date, just so I could see when the days change. So on half of a page of every time we switch days, you'll see the large date stamp. For albums like this, I think it's fun to have some sort of consistency. This was the first stop that we did that day. It was the Northampton Beach. So once again, I have a map from the visitor center, and you can see the North Beach right there. This is where we were. And so I just wanted to have that in here. This is not acid free. It's not long term, but I don't care for this sort of album. You'll see stickers that I got from different places. And once again, another pullout. Now this one is different because I did use some QR codes. So we had a couple of videos, or I had some places I wanted to use QR codes. So throughout the album, you'll see that I used the QR generator to create some QR codes to be able to save those in the album as well. Our first kind of breakfast stop was this place called Friendly Toast. We picked it because they had 2 different flights. They had a mimosa flight and a coffee martini flight, and it was amazing. As I said here, 10 out of 10. So these are just some pictures from the Friendly Toast that we went to and some pictures of us there. Friendly Toast happened to be in Portsmouth. That was one of our first stops. I have the cute little parking ticket. So like I said, I saved some ephemera. I have a postcard from the museum we went to, some pictures of the museum, and then some pictures walking around Portsmouth. I used just washi tape to put on those postcards. Then we finally got to Maine. and we have the Welcome Center there in Maine. I have some rubber stickers from the Allie Edwards collection and a couple of the kind of the clear stickers. This album you're going to see is really just photo heavy. It's not as much of a scrapbook as it is a memory album. Then we went to two different breweries and a wine bar and kind of told that story. I have some journaling behind this tag. So you'll see I do a lot of hiding journaling and then also just some journaling right there on the paper. This was the place that we stayed, another QR code or another journaling box that I have there. So you'll see that's the third one of those I think we've seen. This page I did as part of a challenge over on my little scrapbook store. It's a little bit more of a scrapbook page. I thought it was kind of fun. This is Maine Art Hill, which is a art installation and art gallery there in Kennebunk. And so we wanted to kind of tell that story. So I have the artist cards there. I have some pictures of us, the information from Maine Art Hill. And then next to that are a couple of the really cool signs from Kennebunk that we've enjoyed kind of seeing. So you'll see that's just a kind of a photo page. I did this page also on live on my little scrapbook store. This is called, this is a cutout from my Cricut. And I cut out the yellow paper and then backed it with this colorful paper. These are just the signs for Kennebunk and Kennebunkport. So I thought it would be cool to have that. Then I have just a picture heavy page of the brewery we went to. For those of you counting, this is brewery number 3. It was fun. And then breweries 4 and 5 is Batson River. This became one of the places. It's a restaurant, but also a brewery. It kind of became the place we went to the most there. Kind of really cool vibes, fun times. So enjoyed that place a lot. Sebago we went to, did a small beer flight. That was fun. And then we did a fancy dinner at the nice restaurant there in town, the Boathouse. And one of our favorite things to do is the ghost tours. So we did a ghost tour of Kennebunk, and I don't know if you can see it as well, I used the Heidi Swap stamps from her Halloween collection to make a little ghost house. I have some spider webs. I have the moon over here in gold. Really enjoyed just playing with the stamps on this just to kind of give it a spooky vibe. And then here is another instance where I have the QR code. If you're interested, I'll just leave right there for a second. In taking the ghost tour of Kennebunk, I think it was Kennebunk. I don't remember Kennebunk or Kennebunkport. But then I have just some of the things that we saw while we were on the tour. Have finally a big picture of the night, the final thing we saw that night. Do a couple of big pictures, but this was that Boathouse restaurant, but on the outside of it, they had love, and it just had this really cool reflection. I love that. It was super fun. Then we talk about what we did the next day, which was really a road trip. We took a road trip to Portland, and we ended up going to the Portland, Maine version of Friendly Toast. Ended up being one of our favorite places the whole trip. We went to an art museum, so I blew up one of the pictures we took of a piece of art. I talked about the museum here, and then I have the name of this art piece there. Then I have just another large picture of some of the stuff we saw in Portland. One of these was this beautiful mural. I just thought it was really cool outside of a pub. Took a picture of that. And now we're back to breweries. We did go to Allagash. I think Allagash is a pretty famous Maine brewery. I think most people have heard of it. So we stopped there. We then stopped at Definitive, which is across the street. Ended up being that Definitive was much more our vibe than Allagash. So Allagash is mainly outdoor seating. It's kind of like rural. It's out in the trees. It's kind of cool. And Definitive is more like the breweries that we're used to, which is kind of grungy in a factory, kind of different people. So we enjoyed both, but this was definitely more our vibe. We then went to go get lunch at Blaze Brewing because it's also a hot wood-fired pizza place. So that was really good. And then I have some flip up journaling here, and the stickers from that brewery. And then the final brewery of that day was Sacred Profane. And because we had been to quite a few breweries then, we kind of just did a couple beers and we sat for a while, played games, had a pretzel. It was a pretty kind of chill way to end the night. So inside of this page, I have both the takeout menu and information that I got off the internet. And then you just slide that in behind the photo so that it can be kind of stored there long term. It's just an easy way to have a little bit more information. We then went to Wiggly Bridge, which was a distillery. It was a lot of fun. We had been there before. I actually had some of their bourbon just sitting in my as one of my favorite bourbons. It's just a good local bourbon. So if you're in the Maine or New Hampshire area and you like to support local and you like bourbon or whiskey, I guess technically it's whiskey because it's not in Kentucky. Whiskey, it's a really good kind of small batch um, product. The last brewery in Maine was York Beach. Really enjoyed that. We were able to meet some of my work friends there. And then we ended the trip. We met up with Katie and I had some amazing ice cream. So that was a super fun trip. The kind of final page is just where I put some journaling. I used Photoshop to add that quote on there. A few of the bits and bobs from one of my ephemera packs. I used two of the pieces of paper from the Allie Edwards collection, folded them over, and one of them was a postcard piece. So I actually have kind of just the breakdown of some of the things we did. And then here I have the last of the journaling boxes and a quote that says, "I love waking up in the morning, not knowing what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet or where I'm going to wind up." And, that's kind of been, we kind of just kind of took it, played this one by ear a little bit. It was a lot of fun. And I have a few more pages in here that I can use to put the rest of these stickers down if I wanted to. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at this. I hope you enjoyed this album. I really did enjoy putting it together. It was a kind of a nice way to have those memories. It's going to live with my 2023 memories week planner and be in there. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.